2005 was my first mayor's race that I covered. And what I remember as the turning point was 2 months before the election. Brandon McLeod is shot by Cleveland police. And you became the candidate that was going to bridge City Hall, the police, and the community together. What would candidate Jackson then say about where things stand today?
We're much better. We're much better than we were before. You have to remember when I first became mayor, there was, I think, over 30 or so, I don't know the exact number, of use of excessive force cases, some of which were deadly force that had not been resolved. So one of the very first press conferences I had was to say that the use of excessive force will not be tolerated. Then we brought in a special prosecutor to review all that backlog. We got it all caught up. We set time limits on the review of police, the prosecutor's office, and making decisions, administrative decisions around discipline, those kind of things. And when there were a couple of instances in the city of Cleveland that were very high profile, we asked the Department of Justice to come in to look at our practices and our procedures and our policies. The consent decree with the Department of Justice really gives us an overall framework, a blueprint for total reform. And so now we are investing in training, whether it's crisis intervention, use of deadly force, bias-free policing. We're investing in community engagement, community policing. We're bringing on more police officers. We're giving them better technology. All of our police officers now have body cams. So we're much better. But just like education, just like economic development, like neighborhood development, all these things are works in progress. We have not reached the pinnacle of any of these things, including the relationship between the public and the police.
As you look back over the last 12 years, any regrets, anything you would have done differently?
I don't know. You know, that's a better question to ask me as I go into my next term and when I actually get to the point of no longer being mayor. Then I can talk about things I would have done different or things I'm most proud of. Because once you begin to look at legacies and things like that, you're already in the retirement mode, right? And so I'm not there. I'm not there. We have a lot to do. We have a great opportunity for a good and bright future, but it's not guaranteed. We still have some unfinished work to do. And I'm up for that, and I'm ready to do it.
When you run for higher office or run for re-election, you run on what you've accomplished. What is it that you've accomplished that says Zack Reed should be the next mayor of Cleveland?
I would say, first of all, it would be Kinsman Road. Because in 2001, when I was appointed to be the council person in Ward 3 at that particular time, I went to the mayor and said to the mayor, if I'm going to change the face of Mount Pleasant, I've got to change Kinsman Road. And he agreed. But then I also said that it can't be in asphalt because 100,000 cars go up and down that street every single day. It's got to be in concrete. So right now, when you drive Kinsman Road from 93rd to 154th, it's in concrete. Because I not only had the vision to say we needed to do Kinsman Road, but we needed to do it in concrete. What was the spinoff from doing Kinsman Road? A.J. Rickoff. So we got the third school built under issue 14, built on 146th and Kinsman. What else happened? We got a new county building built on 139th and Kinsman. Right now, all the senior services in the county are in that building on 139th and Kinsman. What else was done? We were able to get a brand new 40-unit senior building built on 138th and Union, which is called Union Court. So just because we did Kinsman Road, there was a $50 million spinoff from there. And that started the renaissance of Mount Pleasant. And then came the foreclosure. And since Mount Pleasant is the #1 residential ward in the city of Cleveland, when everybody else was catching a cold, we caught pneumonia, and we're still trying to revive ourselves from that foreclosure crisis.
Under safety, you talk about adding 400 police officers. By my count, that would be almost $50 million. How do you pay for that?
And you have the money. First of all, we just raised.
$80 million from the tax hike, but that would account for most of it.
Well, first of all, we're not going to hire these people. We're not going to hire 400 police officers in 1 year. That's first and foremost. Second of all, you got to look at the aspect that we just raised people's income tax from 2% to 2.5%. You do a damn good job of coming down and seeing City Hall. So you've seen the budget process work. This year, we approved a budget that said, from the mayor, that said he wanted 1,601 police officers in the city of Cleveland. We approved it. As you and I are sitting here today, we're under that number by 168 police officers. So instead of the 400, you look at right now, I only got to find the money for 232. That's 20 million. So the money's there. The problem is, John, is the priority's not there. In the neighborhood that we're in right now, just look what happened 2 days ago when a police officer had to do what no police officer wants to do, and that's shoot somebody. But why did he have to do it? There were several people shooting, having a gunfight in the middle of the day at 4 o'clock. When you were working, I was working, most people were working, senior citizens probably at home getting ready to watch your newscast. And what happens? They ring out with gunfire. And who do they have to call? The police. In the middle of the day. When you see those things happen in communities like this community, it means to the business community, I don't want to invest there. It means to people who want to move there, I don't want to move there. And if you don't get businesses to move there, you can't create jobs. And you've heard me say it once, I'll say it again. Nothing stops a bullet like a job. When people go to work, you don't see all these heinous crimes in our community. But when people are not working, and people are not working in this city the way I believe they should be, and the way they will be under my administration, you will continue to see this violence in the city of Cleveland.
And in-person early voting continues today at your local Board of Elections, with doors open from 1 p.m. to 5. With Democracy 2017, I'm John Kosich. Enjoy your Sunday.